Hi, this is Lilia with the Help Yourselves podcast. And with me tonight, I have the founder of the Rainbow Valley charity and one of my oldest and best friends, Angela MacVicar. Angela, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Oh, I'm absolutely delighted to see your beautiful face.
So, Rainbow Valley and Heal Scotland have one thing in common, and of course, that was your beloved daughter, Johanna. She was the catalyst for huge change in lots of different ways in our lives. And I sort of Heal Scotland has come from one direction, but your charity, Rainbow Valley, is providing a very bespoke service. Would you just tell everyone, well, first of all, when did the idea come about? Was it after Joe passed? When did you get the idea to create it?
It's something Johanna always felt was missing within a treatment. Johanna always said that she was surrounded by the best doctors in the world, but the best medical team, not just the doctors. However, she felt she was more, they were expert in her disease and she was more than a disease. And she felt that she was unsure about what she could do to, take back a bit of control from that cancer diagnosis. She felt she didn't want it to define who she was. And she often said that she needed somewhere to nourish her mind, body and soul, that the doctors were looking after a disease, but what should she do in between that 15-minute appointment that we get? As her mother, I know that all I did after a 15-minute appointment, all I did was wish it was 6 weeks were up and it was time to get her bloods tested again. Mm-hmm. That the anxiety that builds up in between that. What should you be doing? What shouldn't you be doing? What should you be eating? Should you be exercising? And all this stuff. So, and ironically, I was just thinking about this the other day, ironically, it was 7 years after Johanna passed away that, we decided that we wanted, and it wasn't a conscious thing. And the number 7 plays a huge part in my psyche now and everything I do, and then number 7 will come up and I'll go, oh my goodness, well, that's no surprise. And Johanna's love of rainbows inspired Rainbow Valley. You'll remember as a little girl, she would dance. She did it as an adult. She would dance when she saw a rainbow. She just loved rainbows. So her love of rainbows really inspired. And a lot of people ask me, why did you not call it the Johanna MacVicar, whatever, but the reason for that is I want this to be a long-lasting legacy. She will always be what was behind it. However, it might sound a bit silly, but I never want somebody to say, who was Johanna MacVicar?
Yes.
Because as much as she inspired it, this is about other people. And I pray that Rainbow Valley will continue long after I'm gone or my family has, gone. And I want this to be a legacy for her, but, about her, but not for her. So 7 years after she passed away, we decided, and of course, 7 colours in the rainbow. So there we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting, because over the last few weeks, I've been privy to talking to a lot of women who have set up charities and social enterprises, very often because of their own personal journey and seeing a gap that has not been provided by the government or the council, and created something to fill that gap. And I think they're all such heart-led businesses. But it always, as usual, always comes down to raising money and funding and awareness. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to get you on the podcast, was because I think what I found since I've started meeting with a lot of third people in the sector, which is another name I don't like, why we are the premier division, if you ask me.
Good point.
What we want to do is give people a much deeper understanding of what the charities do. because I know Mia, but in actual fact, when she meets amazingly powerful, heart-led and essential services in our communities, we need to really know about it and understand it, so that we can help the people who can be helped by the charity to find you, but also, you know, people that want to support. You know, very sadly, I've met a lot of people who have lost their children to cancer and brain tumours over the last few years. So people know that that need is there. We're not just the body, we're the whole emotional and spiritual and, you know, all of that. And also what we learned from Johanna's journey as well. A lot of it was heart-wrenchingly painful. Obviously, you come out the other side of these things with a much greater insight to what some people have to go through and etc. So you set up the charity now. So what exactly do you use the money for?
What we do is we run a course pre-COVID. We ran, which is unique. Our USP is we run residential courses for people who are affected by cancer. Now, whoever attends these courses there has to be somebody with a cancer diagnosis, but we are very aware that it's not just that one person that's affected by cancer. The ripple effect that it has on the whole family and friends, and it just goes on and on and on. And that trauma rubs off on absolutely everyone. So our course at Rainbow Valley is called the 7 Steps to Health. And we run a course about, and it's a 2-night, 2-day residential course. People arrive about 4 o'clock in the evening, and the reason that we like them to be residential is, as we all know, when we go in any kind of course, usually we're running in at the tail end. You know, it starts at 9 o'clock, you get stuck in traffic, you've had to organise the family, you've had to, you know, you're nervous, maybe don't know anybody, etc. So some people choose to come on their own, other people can choose to bring a partner, a husband, a wife, a daughter, a best friend, you know, someone else with them. As long as they share the room, they can, you know, come in the course with them, because the effect that this has had is quite profound on them as well. So they arrive the night before, and at that point we have dinner, and then we talk about good sleep hygiene. And, you know, we bring in accredited professionals who will talk to them about, you know, and it's very much getting everybody involved, because really we all know about good sleep hygiene. We all know the things that we should and shouldn't do. You know, don't drink a cup of coffee after a certain time, and don't have the television on with a horror movie, or, you know, there are a lot of things that are very simple and that we all know, but it's just a little reminder of how, because sleep deprivation is something it's attached to anxiety, isn't it? You know, very much so. So that's just really getting to know you and things like that. Then the next day we run different workshops on overcoming stress and anxiety, understanding yourselves, which is very much led by and developed, that part is led by a very good friend of ours, a Dr. Sandra Barrett. She made a video for us to explain how when we're stressed our cells change shape, and it's just getting people to understand. People just sometimes accept that they have cancer and they see it as, you know, it's a disease, you know, but you and I both know what disease is. It's dis-ease. There's something happening. So it just explains how your cells change when you're stressed. And that gives a better understanding to people as to why they need to control their anxiety, you know, and their fear, which I know you're very much into as well. And with fear comes anxiety. So we take a holistic approach, and the 7 steps leads you into understanding how it all falls into place. We talk a lot about gratitude. We have a section on gratitude. We have a section on mindfulness. Then the following day we have, in fact, no, the second night we have like a pamper session, teaching people self-care. That and I know that women especially, when they go for any therapies or treatments, they'll look at it as a treat. I don't like to call them treatments because it's not a treat, it's self-care. It's good for you to have a massage, it's good for you to have Reiki, it's good for you to, you know, so we do taster sessions, and we're so fortunate we get volunteers to come in. We even have volunteers who are hairdressers and beauticians who come in, makeup artists, and you know, they pamper. We also do things like I encourage people to steep their feet in a basin of lavender water, because I remember my mother doing that. I do remember, sorry, I'm going to switch this phone off. I remember my mother doing this, and that in itself aids good sleep hygiene, you know. So we do all that. Then the following day we have nutrition, and it's a nutritionist who takes them through different food choices, because we have to remember that food is a choice. What we eat is a choice. We're the ones that are leading it to our mouth, and it's letting them understand exactly the process of, you know, it's just all about mindset, isn't it? And we're not a life-saving charity, we're a life-changing charity. And I very much believe, at Rainbow Valley, we very much believe that we don't just want to survive a cancer diagnosis, we want to thrive. You know, to be cured, or I suppose you're never really cured, but to beat cancer and then live your life full of anxiety and worry of reoccurrence. And we want life to be full, live in the moment, day by day. And what we do at Rainbow Valley is we give them tools. We do laughter yoga. We do, and that really brings people out of their comfort zone. So, yeah, it's very much full of positivity. It's not, we don't encourage people to talk about cancer. That's the first thing that we ask when they come to a course. We've one thing in common here. We are a cancer charity, but we would ask you not to discuss your cancer treatment and how many times you've had different treatments. We're here to talk about your health, not about your disease. You know, and immediately you see, you know, some people do like to, but we're not counsellors, so we can't really encourage people to come to us for, we'll love on them, we'll give them a hug if they need that, but we are not counsellors. We are there to guide them through tools that will help them embrace life. And people, you know, 100% of people who come in our course, after we do a survey after it, and 100% of people, including the people who have not had the cancer diagnosis and support her, they say that after doing the course, they feel better equipped to cope.
And that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She said, I knew that cancer obviously affected the body, but what I didn't realise was how it would affect my mind. And I think that's the thing. And as you say, that you and also in some way when you're in the system and there's all these amazing nurses and doctors, most of them, let's face, 99.9% are amazing, especially nurses that care, etc. But when that is gone, when you're actually through the treatment out the other side, that's when you're back home and suddenly you don't have to turn up for appointments the same, and you know that can be a bit of a scary time. So do most people come to you after they've had treatment?
It varies. We've had people on the course who perhaps had breast cancer 10 years ago.
Ah, of course, that's nice.
Because they have lived that journey with the fear of recurrence. So they still need, you know, just to do that, you know. And our hopes are, with the 7 steps to health, there are 7 elements, and our hopes are that we will have, it's all down to the money, isn't it? We would like to have day courses that are offshoots.
I was going to say, do you have anything online to offer?
Yeah, well, once people have been on the course, well, during the pandemic, we actually developed online courses, a nutrition course and overcoming anxiety, because these were the two that we felt were most important at that point. But we desperately want to get back to face-to-face, residential, because we couldn't until now, because we were dealing with the most vulnerable people in the society, and we just felt it was inappropriate for us to do that. But now people just again have to take responsibility for themselves, and so we're hoping to get back to the residential very soon.
So you can come and do the course, and then there's a way to sort of remind yourself and keep, because we all, with the best will in the world, slip. Once you go back into your old external environment, it becomes more challenging, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You need to keep replugging in and recharging yourself.
Yeah. Well, we've got a Facebook page for course attendees. And we also have a section on our website that once you've been in the course, you can access to get recipes, to get recordings of some mindfulness, recordings that you can go for a mindfulness walk and you can listen to some nice soothing, instruction on what to do and what to listen for, and etc. Nice music. You can access pointers from the overcoming stress and anxiety. You can just remind yourself of what you did, but it's only really once you've been in the course and understood. There's no point in us putting it on out there, because unless you've been in the face-to-face and you've really embraced and understood the 7 steps to health, and also we don't want people thinking they can go on the website and think, right, oh well, that didn't really do anything for me, because it won't. There is nothing like a face-to-face
absolutely
meeting.
And who you meet at these courses, almost every bit. You're creating small communities, aren't you? I know that we do that at the farm. People make friends that can last for a while. So primarily you run this course, and so who would say I'm always concerned people that are just diagnosed rush into treatments that they may not need. Would somebody who's just been diagnosed, would it be good for them before they went into treatment?
Oh yeah, as long as they've had a cancer diagnosis, they can come along. We don't encourage people not to have treatment. We support them in whatever treatment they choose.
Yes.
We have had people on the courses who have refused conventional treatment, but we look upon ourselves not as alternative but complementary. And who are we to judge or decide what we would do, what I would do in that position? So we encourage anybody. As I say, we don't really talk about cancer, and we don't talk about treatments. There's somewhere to go for that.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not Rainbow Valley. At Rainbow Valley, we offer coping strategies for your mind, body and soul.
So it would be good to go before you, even if it doesn't matter what treatment you decide. Still, it can be a daunting journey for people. So these tools are going to help them regardless of what path they choose to take.
Yes.
Right. So, so people repeat the course, don't they?
No, you get to do the 7 steps to health. Wish we had enough money to let people come and repeat the course. You're only allowed to do the course once.
Right. Okay.
Because the maximum that we would ever have in a course would be 30, and that is maximum.
Right.
That is maximum. It's just gets harder to handle, and people start to talk, and before you know it,
I know
it's hard to control. It's not that we want to control people, but we have to get back to grounding people to, right, this is what we're here to do. And if people are going off in their little groups and having conversations, and so the bigger group, any bigger than that would be very difficult to manage, not control, manage. But yes, anybody at any stage can come in the course, and they get to do it once. But however, they can do the day courses. We also are going to continue doing the day courses that we started doing last year, and they can come and do the day course after they've done the 7 steps to health. And we've now made a decision that if people want the day courses, we can have a lot more people on the course. So we have made the decision that all our courses are free, because it shouldn't matter whether you can afford. This is the thing, if you getting access to tools that will empower you should not be limited to your financial circumstances. So they're not means tested. However, the day courses that we have, if you've already done a day course and you want to come back and do another, will allow you to do that if you pay the cost of the food.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair enough, I think. And there will be
and people are delighted with that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So there's the 2-night residential, and then there's day courses, and then there's a follow-up. So really, and so how do you get your money? Is it mainly fundraising? What if people that are watching this, there'll be people that say, well, I would like to help and give towards this. Can they just donate on your website?
Yep, there's a donate button on the website. There's lots of things you can take part in. We have events. We've got an event coming up, which is called Bougie Bingo, and it's coming up on the 14th of May. Yeah, 14th of May, in the Glen Hill Hotel in Renfrew. It's just off the motorway, and it's a ladies' lunch and a bit of a laugh. I mean, I don't particularly like bingo, but this is something a bit different. It's just going to be an absolute riot and a laugh, because we're all about happiness. You know, laughing is good for your soul. And so we've got things like that. We've got a ball every year. So we like to give back. You know, if you're considering doing a sponsored event, do it for Rainbow Valley. Donate. We always hold a tombola, you know, at our events. Donate, you know, a bottle of something, a bottle of wine, or a bottle of tomato sauce, whatever, you know, as long as it's unopened.
I'll get this fridge for you.
So yeah, you know, there's lots that people can do without. Run a coffee morning, you know, do something that, you know, you don't need to go into your own pocket. You can do something that helps the community, and then if you're doing it for Rainbow Valley, it just highlights Rainbow Valley, because we're coming up in 11 years old, and we just need, you know, people to know exactly what we do, and why we do it.
So somebody watching this right now, or that knows somebody that maybe is struggling a little bit with diagnosis or after, or whatever stage they're at on that journey, how do they just contact you via phone or email? What's the best? Yeah,
the best way is to go onto the website. Our course that I'm working on just now, it'll be in the next couple of weeks, next week or so, no, 2 weeks, we will be advertising it, and it will sell very, very quickly, because this one we're keeping to 20 people, because we've just come back, and obviously the costs, because it's residential. So we're keeping this course to 20 people, and so it has to be first come first served basis. So I would just say go onto the website, have a look, and keep an eye on the courses tab. There's events. Click on the events tab and see what you can do to join in, or get a group of people together to just do anything to raise awareness and raise some much needed cash. We also apply for trust funds, which, you know, applying for trust funds and charities, it's funny, the big charities actually employ people who that's solely what they do, and they're expert at it. They're, you know, they know exactly the buzzwords, and so you've got little old me applying for trust funds, but you know, I just wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm just honest. you know, and see it as it is. And I just reckon, you know, passion outweighs expertise when some of these you know, occasions. And there's so many fabulous charities out there, and we're all bidding for the money from foundations. And I'm always very, very grateful to any organisation who reads what I've written and considers, even if I get a rejection, you know, and that again comes back to, it's all about gratitude. And I'm very grateful that they've taken the time to read through the application and perhaps learned a little bit about Rainbow Valley, you know. And you know, I'm just honest in these applications, but we'll see how they go.
I don't touch these forms at all. Luckily, I've got friends who do. So that's fantastic. So like every single charity, it's always about the more money you have, the more people you can help.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be anybody listening to this podcast that either has themselves or somebody in their family been touched by cancer. So if you'd like to help, Angela's kind of laid out all the different ways: donate a bottle, share an event, take a table at the ball, just donate on the site, because the more money you can get in, the more courses you can run and the more people you can help, and the stronger that emotional community can be for the other side of healing, which is all about people that understand you, you know, people that have been there. And then, you know, that's the power of the community. It works whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to heal, whether you're trying to create something. The more people you've got on side that really get it, the more powerful it's going to be.
Yeah.
So listen,
and we're all about empowerment, aren't we?
Yeah, 100%. And everybody's got to stand on their own 2 feet. But while we've got people who can't stand on their own 2 feet, we have to support them and help them.
Yeah.
And Rainbow Valley can.
We're a crutch.
Doing that, exactly. So listen, fantastic. I will. I'll put all the details in the box for the podcast. Anybody that wants to help, just please share the word, and let's get more of these courses going and fill in the stuff for the website and get on the Heal Scotland website.
Yeah, fabulous. Lovely speaking to you, sweetheart.
Okay, I'll see you soon, darling. Okay, ciao.